The Upanishads are written in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the oldest language on earth. The very word Sanskrit means transformed, adorned, crowned, decorated, refined. But remember the word transformed. The language itself was transformed because so many people attained the ultimate. And because they were using the language, something of their joy penetrated into it, something of their poetry entered the very cells, the very fiber of the language. Even the language became transformed, illuminated. It was bound to happen. Just as it is happening today in the West, languages are becoming more and more scientific, accurate, mathematical, precise. They have to be because science is giving them its color, its shape, its form. If science is growing, then of course the language in which the science will be expressed will have to be scientific. The same happened 5,000 years ago in India with Sanskrit. So many people became enlightened, and they were all speaking Sanskrit. Their enlightenment entered it with all its music, with all its poetry, with all its celebration. Sanskrit became luminous. Sanskrit is the most poetic and musical language in existence. A poetic language is just the opposite of a scientific language. In a scientific language, every word has to be very precise in meaning. It has to have only one meaning. In a poetic language, the word has to be liquid, flowing, dynamic, not static, allowing many meanings, many possibilities. The word has not to be precise at all. The more imprecise it is, the better, because then it will be able to express all kinds of nuances. Hence, the Sanskrit sutras can be defined in many ways, can be commented upon in many ways. They allow much playfulness. For example, there are 800 roots in Sanskrit, and out of those 800 roots, thousands of words have been derived. Just as out of one root a tree grows, and many branches, and thousands of leaves, and hundreds of flowers. Each single root becomes a vast tree with great foliage. For example, the root Ram can mean first, to be calm, second, to rest, third, to delight in, fourth, cause delight to, fifth, to make love, sixth, to join, seventh, to make happy, eighth, to be blissful, ninth, to play, 10th, to be peaceful, 11th, to stand still, 12th, to stop, to come to a full stop, and 13th, God, divine, the absolute. And these are only a few of the meanings of the root. Sometimes the meanings are related to each other, sometimes not, sometimes even they are contradictory to each other. Hence, the language has a multidimensional quality to it. You can play with those words, and through that play, you can express the inexpressible can be hinted. The Sanskrit language is called Devvani, the divine language. It certainly is divine in the sense that it is the most poetic and the most musical language. Each word has a music around it, a certain aroma. How did it happen? It happened because so many people used it who were full of inner harmony. Of course, those words became luminous. They were used by people who were enlightened. Something of their light filtered to the words, reached the words. Something of their silence entered the very grammar, the very language they were using. The script in which Sanskrit is written is called Devanagari. Devanagari means dwelling, place of the gods, and so certainly it is. Each word has become divine because it has been used by people who have known God or godliness. This Upanishad we are entering today is the smallest. It can be written on a postcard, and yet it is the greatest document in existence. There is no document of such luminosity, of such profundity anywhere in the whole history of humanity. The name of the Upanishad is the Isha Upanishad. The world of the Upanishads is very close to my approach. In fact, what I am doing here is giving a rebirth to the spirit of the Upanishads. It has disappeared even from India, and it has not been on the scene for at least 3,000 years. There is a gap of 3,000 years, and in these 3,000 years India has destroyed its own achievement. The first thing is that the Upanishads are not anti-life. They are not for renouncing life. Their approach is whole. Life has to be lived in its totality. They don't teach escapism. They want you to live in the world, but in such a way that you remain above the world, in a certain sense transcendental to the world, living in the world, and yet not being of it. But they don't teach you that life has to be renounced, that you have to escape from life, that life is ugly or life is sin. They rejoice in life. It is a gift of God. It is the manifest form of God. This fundamental has to be remembered. The Upanishads say that the world is the manifest form of God, and that God is the unmanifest form of the world, and every manifest phenomenon has an unmanifest phenomenon inside it. When you see a flower, the flower is only the manifest form of something inside it, its essence, which is unmanifest, which is its soul, its very being. You cannot catch hold of it, you cannot find it by dissecting the flower. For that you need a poetic approach, not the scientific approach. The scientific approach analyzes. The poetic perspective is totally different. Science will never find any beauty in the flower because beauty belongs to the unmanifest form. Science will dissect the manifest form and will find all kinds of substances the flower is made of, but will miss its soul. Each and everything has both, the body and the soul. The body is the world and the soul is God. But the body is not against the soul, the world is not against the God. The world manifests God, expresses God. God is silence, and the world is the song of that silence. And the same is true about you. Every person has both the manifest, the body-mind structure, and the unmanifest, your consciousness. Religion consists in discovering the unmanifest in the manifest. It is not a question of escaping anywhere. It is exploring your innermost depths. It is exploring the silent center, the center of the cyclone. And it is always there, any moment you can find it. It is not something that has to be found somewhere else, in the Himalayas or in a monastery. It is within you. You can discover it in the Himalayas. You can discover it in the marketplace. The Upanishads say that to choose between the absolute and the relative is wrong. Any choice will make you partial. You will not be whole. And without the whole there is no bliss. Without the whole there is no holiness. Without the whole, you are always going to be a little bit lopsided, insane. When you are whole, you are healthy because you are total. The relative means the world, the changing, phenomenal world. And the absolute means the unchanging center of the changing world. Find the unchanging in the changing. And it is there, so there is no question. You just have to know the technique of discovering it. That technique is meditation. Meditation simply means becoming attuned to the unmanifest. The body is there, you can see it. The mind is there, you can see it too. If you close your eyes, you will see the mind with all its activity, with all its working. Thoughts are passing, desires are arising, memories surfacing, and the whole activity of the mind will be there. You can watch it. One thing is certain, the watcher is not the mind. The one who is conscious of the activities of the mind is not part of the mind. The watcher is separate. The witness is separate. To become aware of this witness is to have found the essential, the central, the absolute, the unchanging. The body changes. Once you are a child, then a young man or a young woman, then old age. One day you were in the mother's womb, then you were born, then one day again you die and disappear into the womb of existence. The body goes on changing, continuously changing. The mind goes on changing. In the morning you are happy. In the afternoon you are angry. In the evening you are sad. Moods, emotions, feelings go on changing. Thoughts go on changing. The wheel goes on moving around you. This is the cyclone. The phenomenal world is the cyclone. It is never the same, not even for 2 consecutive moments. But something is always the same, always, never changes. It is the witness. To find that witness is to find God. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think or what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to subscribe for more.